Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like the public doesn't really exist? I mean, not as a word politicians use, but as a real thing, a force in our democracy? Well, it turns out you're not the first to feel that way. A philosopher was wrestling with this exact problem 100 years ago, and honestly, his ideas have never been more relevant. Let's be real for a second. We all vote, we try to keep up with the news, but the actual machine of government can feel so far away, right? Kind of impersonal and totally disconnected from our day-to-day lives. That feeling? That's not just you being cynical. It's actually one of the biggest challenges of modern democracy. So, Section 1, Democracy's Enduring Question. We're going to dive into this feeling, this problem, and explore one of the most powerful attempts ever to figure it out. And this is our guy, John Dewey. Back in 1927, he was looking around at the roaring 20s, the machine age, with all its new technology, and he saw the very same political apathy we feel today. He had this incredible insight that as the world was getting more and more complex, the public itself was getting lost. It was, as he put it, going into an eclipse. Okay, Section 2, the search for the public. To really get what Dewey was talking about, we have to ask a basic question. What even is the public? And trust me, his answer is probably not what you're thinking. So for Dewey, the public isn't just everybody. Nope. It's a very specific group of people that only comes into being when they're hit by the side effects of something someone else did. A private deal that suddenly has consequences for them. Let's make that super simple. Imagine a factory is dumping chemicals into a river. That's a private action, right? But what happens when that pollution flows downstream and starts making people in the next town sick? Boom. All those people who are now affected, they just became a public. A public is literally born from a shared problem. And this is the key. For Dewey, a public isn't just a passive crowd watching things happen. It's an active creation. It has to wake up and recognize the problem, realize they all have a stake in fixing it, and then actually organize to do something about it. In fact, he argued this whole process, a public getting organized to solve its problems, is exactly where the idea of government comes from in the first place. All right, Section 3, Experts versus the People. Now, Dewey's ideas didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were shaped in the middle of a huge debate that is, wow, just as fiery today as it was back then. And here's the other side of the argument, Walter Lippmann. He was a superstar journalist, and after seeing the government propaganda used in World War I, he became deeply, deeply pessimistic about the average person's ability to make sense of the world. And their disagreement was massive. Lippmann basically said the public is a phantom, just a confused herd driven by emotions, completely unfit to govern. His solution? Let a small group of smart, unbiased experts run things. But Dewey pushed back hard. He said, yeah, the public is often messy and disorganized. Inchoate was his word. But it is absolutely real. And the answer isn't to get rid of it, it's for the experts to serve it. And Dewey just summed up his whole philosophy in this one brilliant analogy. It's about who really holds the most important kind of knowledge. I mean, think about it. You don't need to know anything about leatherworking or stitching to know that your shoe is hurting you. That feeling, that pinch, is a type of knowledge that no expert can ever experience for you. The public's job isn't to design the new shoe. Its job to be the authority on the problem, to yell, hey, this shoe is pinching. The expert's job is to listen and figure out how to fix it. Section 4, From Society to Community. And this powerful belief in the wisdom of everyday experience is what led Dewey to his final diagnosis of our modern problem. So, Dewey makes this really critical distinction. He said technology had wired everyone together into a huge, efficient, great society, but it had totally failed to create a great community. And the difference here is everything. A great society is connected mechanically, by highways and markets and the internet. It works, but it can feel really empty and impersonal. A great community, on the other hand, is connected by shared meaning and understanding. It's built through genuine communication, by turning our separate experiences into a story we all share. And this is the challenge Dewey throws right at our feet 100 years later. I mean, we live in the greatest great society ever built, right? We're connected by satellites and fiber optic cables, but have we built a great community? Do we actually understand each other's problems, each other's pinching shoes? Okay, last part, Section 5, the unfinished task. This is where Dewey brings it all home, and it's less of a conclusion and more of a call to action. The reason we feel so disconnected, The reason the public seems to be missing in action is because our sense of community just hasn't kept up with our technology. We can't actually form an effective public if we're all just isolated individuals who happen to be plugged into the same giant machine. So how do we fix it? Well, Dewey laid out a path. First, we need total freedom to investigate our problems. Second, we need absolute transparency. He called it full publicity, so that a public can actually see how it's being affected. And third, the most important part, we need the art of communication, something that can turn all that raw data and information into a shared human experience, a story that we all get. And so that's the question we're left with. Today, we have more information, more data, more ways to connect than Dewey could have possibly imagined. We are absolutely swimming in the raw materials to build a great community. But what does it actually take to build it? What will it take for the public to finally step out of the shadows?